And very good morning to you folks. NTV Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear with you. And I've done these segments before, and I've called them the NL Weather Briefing, and I think I'm going to start naming them something a little different. I don't know if you'll find it as clever as I do, but I kind of liked it when I thought of it yesterday. I guess if I'm doing this before the NTV Evening News Hour in first edition, we'll call it the weather before the weather. Not bad, right? And if we do it after the NTV Evening News Hour in the evening, I'm going to call it the weather after the weather. And it's basically a chance for me to do this on my own time and go into as much detail as I want with no time constraints. The choice is yours if you want to actually watch the whole thing or not. I hope you certainly do, but if not, I certainly won't take any offense to it. This morning, what I'm showing you on my screen now is basically the current wind pattern across generally the North Atlantic Ocean. And for the most part, what you are seeing this morning is an area of low pressure south of Greenland. This is Greenland right here. And that low is generating some very strong winds across both coasts of Newfoundland this morning. And those winds are actually helping to develop some snow squalls. I'll talk more about that over the next couple of minutes. But basically, as long as those winds are there and as long as that low is there, it's going to be a very windy day. And the low, right here, will continue to slowly pull away as we go into the afternoon. So the wind speeds will slowly calm down as the afternoon does progress. But right now, many areas of Newfoundland's east and west coasts, and along the south coast for that matter as well, in the Bonavista Peninsula and the northeast coast, all coastal areas essentially are seeing winds peaking near 100 kilometers per hour. And again, they will slowly back on off as we go throughout the day. But those southwesterly winds combined with some much colder air moving in, that moved in last night, I should say. You can see it's -6 in St. John's. Yesterday at this time, it was near +8, so quite a stark difference in temperature. -8 in Corner Brook at the moment, -27 in Churchill Falls and Labrador City, Wabash, currently at -33 degrees. Does not even include the wind chill. That's just brutally cold. But the colder air moving in over the relatively warm ocean water has helped some snow squalls develop along both coasts this morning. Notice a satellite and radar imagery showing those snow squalls rather well, stretching back from the Burin Peninsula and across much of the Avalon Peninsula. And as of now, it looks like we're sort of seeing two main lines of snow squalls. We've got one that stretches from the northern part of the Burin Peninsula across the northern Avalon, kind of oriented southwest to northeast, and looks like another band of snow squalls down across the southern shore of the Avalon, sort of just scraping the land. And what you're going to see with these is essentially moderate to heavy snow as the squalls are moving in and moving around, and then they'll sort of pass and lift, and that might repeat itself several times through the morning hours. I think they will wane a little bit as we go into the afternoon. Amounts on the Avalon should, for the most part, be less than 5 centimeters, maybe a bit more across the southern shore. On the Burin Peninsula, I think the snow squalls there will be a bit more persistent today, so I would not be surprised if the favored areas of the Burin Peninsula see 10 centimeters of snow today. Some areas less, some areas a little more perhaps, but it's going to be sort of a squally day. Areas not in the squalls, like central Newfoundland, we'll just see some scattered flurries today and a mix of sun and cloud. We're also seeing some very heavy snow squall activity along the west coast right now. And let's actually see if I can pull up some webcams for you. Website I'm pulling up now is nlcams.com. And forgive me, some of this is not on your screen. But you can see across much of the Avalon, which is what you're seeing right here. These are the St. John's webcams. It's not looking too bad over downtown St. John's. It's looking okay at the moment. But as we take a look at some more across the Avalon, this is what it looks like in Foxtrap right now. Road there, TCH, looks very, very snow-covered this morning. So certainly take your time if you're going to be heading out into these snow squalls or passing through them. And in Holyrood, some of that's off your screen, but the webcam there is definitely covered up. Central, we're not looking too bad this morning. On the west coast, that's where the snow squalls have pretty much been heaviest throughout the day. And NTV Skycam in Corner Brook right now. I can actually drag that around. Showing that it is snowing rather heavily for much of the western side of the island. So certainly keep that in mind if you are going to be driving, because the snow squalls by definition are generally very narrow and they can create very treacherous driving conditions in very localized areas. Now just getting back to some of the graphics here, wind speeds this morning, pretty strong. 64 kilometers per hour sustained right now in Cape Race, 57 in St. Lawrence. Port aux Basques looking at 75 kilometer an hour winds. They're gusting much higher than that in some spots, up to 90 kilometers per hour in Cape Race, nearly 80 in St. John's. We had a peak wind in St. John's this morning around 94, I believe. Port aux Basques had a peak of 106, and Bonavista peaked at 107 this morning. So some very, very strong winds, and they actually translate up to the Labrador coast as well. But again, those winds will be slowly diminishing as the day does sort of progress. So we're going to keep a close eye on that as we do go into the afternoon here. What I want to do with you now, before I go, is just show you the forecast for today. Most of that should be on your screen there. And basically, the northwesterly and westerly winds will generate the squalls along the west coast. Temperatures, again, I was just showing you those. They're -6 east, about -10 west, -teens, 20s in Labrador. And as you can see here on your screen, temperatures aren't really going to go really anywhere throughout the day. In fact, in some spots, they may fall a degree or two as we step into the afternoon, and the winds will gust close to 100 this morning for the eastern side of the island for all coastal areas, and they'll back off a little bit as we go into the afternoon hours before diminishing as we do go into this evening. But once we get through today, the next weather maker arrives tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to be our first of two areas of low pressure. And what you're looking at here is the forecast for 8:30 Wednesday night across Newfoundland. And that darker blue, that is steady snow. And this model is forecasting steady snow to develop tomorrow afternoon from low pressure number 1. Could be roughly 5 to 10 centimeters for much of the Avalon Peninsula. And then we catch a little bit of a break early Thursday morning before low number 2 arrives, which spreads more snow across the Avalon Peninsula and potentially even farther west, depending on the low's track. This model having the low track has the low tracking right over the Avalon. Some have it tracking a little bit farther to the east, but guidance still has some work to do on getting a bit more organized with these two lows. But basically, they will bring significant snowfall to the Avalon Peninsula, almost certainly. And then as we go farther west, a bit uncertain at this time, but more and new guidance will come in this afternoon, and I'll have a forecast update for you then in regard to the Wednesday, Thursday sort of double barrel lows on my Facebook page, on Twitter, at Eddie Shear on Twitter, meteorologist Eddie Shear on Facebook, and I'll maybe have a blog update as well, and that's meteorologisteddieshear.wordpress.com. But that may not happen until tonight, depending on what kind of time I've got. So sort of lots of weather on the go. What I want you to take away from it today is it's going to be windy. We're going to see snow squalls. The wind calms down this afternoon. Temperatures are cold. And then I'm tracking two lows for Wednesday and Thursday, which look like they are going to bring significant snowfall to the Avalon Peninsula. And then possibly another little system for Friday night into Saturday that may affect the whole island, specifically hardest hit areas, maybe central and eastern Newfoundland once more, but that one's a bit trickier. So lots to work out. We'll figure out over the next couple of days. I'll see you tonight on the NTV Evening News Hour between 6 and 7. First edition between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, and then on Facebook and Twitter as always. Have a great day.